Hi friends, welcome. This is Patty Bennett. I am so happy that you have decided to join me for another fun weekly crafting and card making video. If you are finding me live, then it should be 11 a.m. Pacific time on Friday, June 16th. If you could just let me know that you're here, that would be fabulous so that I know I'm not just talking with myself today. I'm a little bit early on the live, so if you are just tuning in, no problem. I'm just getting set up here. We're just getting started. So just let me know that you're here. We have beautiful cards to talk about today. We have, hi, Robin. Yay, I have somebody here. Hi, Keisha. Welcome. Fabulous. Fabulous. Hi, Tammy. Yes, happy Friday. Hello, Linda. Welcome, everybody. So glad that you are here. So we have these cards to talk about. I'm going to explain how to make these really pretty multicolored flowers. You know, I'm all about the flowers, right? It's all about the flowers for me. We are also going to talk about these beautiful backgrounds. So, and I'll kind of explain how these cards came about and give you a little background. Oh my goodness, it looks like, I hope it is not getting blurry. Is this a bad signal for anybody else? Oh dear. It looks like it was breaking up. My goodness. Somebody please let me know. I can try one more thing, but hopefully this will clear itself up. Hi, Shan. Hi, Kathy. Welcome, everyone. Hello, Diane. Hi, Polly. Patricia. Yeah, a little glitchy. Tammy says it's blurry. Okay, I'm just going to try something. If it disconnects, hang tight, and I will... Yeah, it is clear now, isn't it, Shan? Then maybe I won't try anything. You know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Okay, yeah. Good now. Okay, I am just going to leave it. Somebody let me know if it glitches again, and I'll see what I can do. So, let me just tell you how these cards came about. As you know, last weekend, Kirsten and I co-hosted a big team Love to Stamp group event. It was a 2-day. It was going to be 3-day. It was a 2-day event. Part of the day was some kind of bonus projects, try-it tables, techniques that people could learn. So one thing that I wanted people to try was to create, and hang on, these got stuck together. Please hold. Going to try. Okay, I tried something, and so I'm just going to pause for just a minute. I don't even know if the signal is catching up to the live or what. So it looks like now that it has caught up. So I'll just, oh dear, now it looks horrible again. Oh my heavens, come on. Internet world, please cooperate. I'll just tell you one funny thing about doing live videos. This is something that I was able to chat with several leaders about when we were on our Stampin' Up trip last month, is that the whole technology thing is the biggest worry of everything. You know, it's not that I might make a mistake. It's not that I might use the wrong color. It's not that I might forget a stamp set name. Technology is the biggest issue. And I'll tell you, it gives me so much anxiety worrying about, is Facebook going to cooperate? Is YouTube going to cooperate? Is the Wi-Fi going to cooperate? Is my Verizon signal going to cooperate? It's all of that. That's the thing that gives us all the biggest anxiety. So, you know, if you can get that settled and you can get all that done, it doesn't really matter if you make a mistake in the stamping. So I think the signal looks much better now. I am going to just start over a little bit here. So let me just reintroduce myself. This is Patty Bennett. I appreciate you joining me today, whether live or replay or YouTube or blog or Facebook. I blog at pattystamps.com and I share Stampin' Up projects. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Next week, I will be celebrating 28 years as a Stampin' Up demonstrator, if that even sounds possible. And I definitely love florals. These are my favorite types of cards to share with you. So what I was explaining before our crazy glitchiness was that last weekend, Kirsten and I co-hosted a big 2-day event. We called it our summer soiree. And we had lots of projects for everyone to make, but we also had some bonus things for people to try. One of the bonus things that I had created and prepped, well, I didn't die cut. Tina die cut these for everybody, but we provided this die cut in white and a piece of white cardstock. And I provided instructions for everyone to use blending brushes and ink pads to create these backgrounds. And the idea was that you would go home with 2 different pieces that you could create your own cards with. So these would be the backgrounds for your cards. I had these 2 examples on the display board, but what I couldn't or didn't it's not that I couldn't. I didn't have time in this brief visit to these technique tables to also explain how to make these beautiful multicolored flowers with the textural floral stamp set. So that's what I thought that I would do today, was to explain how I made these images in multicolors with this stamp set. I'm going to give you a few tips, and these actually apply to any distinctive stamp set. So there are stamp sets from Stampin' Up that have this kind of, I mean, it might be hard to see on camera, but they've got kind of this stippling look. And so they are a little bit different to stamp with. And maybe it's easier to see here in the catalog, page 65 in the catalog. Do you see how these stamps are kind of made up with tiny little dots? So it's kind of like if you're from the 60s like me and you remember your television 60 years ago, where it was real, pixely, and it was made up of dots. I mean, they probably still are. I don't know what all the new technology is, but you kind of get where I'm going here. Like, all these little dots make up the image. So it's different than just a super solid piece of rubber. So when you see this distinctive, this little logo in the catalog, it means that it is made up of all these little dots. It is meant to give, see how this is kind of, I don't want to call it splotchy, but it's almost a watercolor type look. It's different than a super solid piece of rubber. For instance, I can just see this right here on my shelf. The balloons in the new beautiful balloons. This is a completely solid piece of rubber. Yes, I know there's little stars in there, but this is solid. These are solid pieces of rubber, whereas this has all these little stipples. So I'm going to show you some tips that apply to all distinctive stamp sets, and it will help you to create with this type of set and make these beautiful multicolored images. And then at the end, if you would like to see this background, I'll be happy to demonstrate this, and we can do that. I'm just, fingers crossed that this signal stays, because like I just said at the beginning, the technology part is the worst part. You might also be thinking that this card looks a tiny bit familiar. I did blog a couple of cards that were similar about, 6 weeks or so ago. I can't remember exactly, with this type of flower, but the background is actually a little different. I did use this white Gorgeous Garden die cut, I should say, but I used this, is it Hello Irresistible? Yes, Hello Irresistible paper as a background. And so any of these soft, beautiful colored, multicolored, see how they're all just kind of stipply looking? If you put that on top of any of these, you can also get this beautiful multicolored look in the background. So that's just an alternate way to use this, is to experiment and put it on top of any designer paper that you'd wish. But I do recommend this Hello Irresistible as a great one to experiment with. So that's what this is. That background that goes from like yellow to peach to orange-ish, flamingo-ish, is actually a piece from that Hello Irresistible. So that's just another fun way to use them. And if you're thinking, wait, what are you talking about? This is the double set of Gorgeous Garden dies. So I have made several cards with the monkey. I think I did the rhino, some other things with the leaf die in the background. And then the one we're talking about is this Gorgeous Garden die. So that gives you the overview. My brother always has teased me for 60 years about the fact that I always need the roadmap. I need to know where we're headed before we jump into anything. And that's why on my videos, I tend to give you several minutes of the roadmap. I like to show you where we're headed before just jumping in. And maybe that bores some of you. I do apologize, but that's how my brain works. I have to see the big picture, and then I have to see the supplies, and then I jump into it. So bear with me. We're getting there. We're getting there. But I just wanted to let you know that that is how my brain works, and that is why we are going over everything first. All right. Sorry. I know, lots of blah, 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 but it's just how my brain works. So I'm just going to get out a couple pieces of basic white cardstock. This won't matter if it's thick or regular. This will work either way. And I have my stamps mounted from that set. So they're just off screen up here. So I have different stamps up here that we're going to use. Oh, Lillian says, I need the roadmap too. Thank you. I'm so glad I'm not the only one that enjoys the roadmap. We're using Lemon Lolly, Bubble Bath, and Berry Burst. If you're looking for these Stampin' Up! Supplies, they are all listed today on my blog. Oh, wait, hold on. I printed this out and then I promptly proceeded to run over it with my chair. So these supplies are all listed at pattystamps.com today. You can click any of them to go to my online store if you need any of these supplies, if you do not have a demonstrator. All right. Oh, good. Susan likes the big picture and roadmap too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. And I will mention, if you didn't see my video a month or two, I don't know exactly when I did it, ago, where I mentioned that I did actually put stickers on my lighter ink pads. It's just because I have old eyeballs and it's hard for me to see. So I have used my Brother P Touch labeler to make labels to darken those. So if you're thinking, mine doesn't look like that, you're probably right. It probably doesn't. Oh, thank you. Wendy says it's all useful information. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So the first thing I want to show you is kind of like the do's and don'ts. And with these stamps, and wait, let me do this. So this might help you to see. Can you see all those little stippled dots that we were talking about just a minute ago? This might help you not be frustrated. So if you open up your ink pad and you have one of these stippled distinctive stamps and you stamp it and you say, oh my goodness, that just really doesn't look Great. And you might think, oh, I am never buying these distinctive stamps. Never mind. I'm not getting these anymore. I don't like this. Okay, let me show you the tips and tricks for making this stamp beautifully. And I'm going to do it right next to it so you can see the before and after. Now, I use an old bone folder. And if you don't have an extra one, I really recommend just buying an extra one for use when you re-ink your pads, when you'd use the inker, the refill, to spread it out, and also for what I'm going to show you. You could use, I know there's like a scraper. It kind of looks like credit card-ish size. It's like a scraper that you would use to apply vinyl. I think you can use something like that, but just make sure that it doesn't have a sharp edge. Because I know a lot of people say, oh, I just use my old credit card. That, to me, can nick and put little scrapes in your ink pad. You don't want to do that. So I really, really recommend just using a bone folder. But anyway, just again, giving you all the info. Here's what you do. You use it to push away ink. And I do it right out of the center of the pad. I mean, it really doesn't matter if you do it at one end or whatever. But can you see that difference? Do you see how that is lighter in the middle right now? Okay, I'm just going to wipe this off on an old cloth. I just keep an old washcloth right there. Okay, now we're going to ink in the middle, and I'm going to show you the difference. Is that not astonishing? How amazing is that you can go from this really funny, like it has like dots in all the wrong places, to just this really soft, beautiful, distinctive image. So that is tip number one, and that works with any distinctive set. So if you didn't know that, can I get a heart or a thumbs up? I would love to know if this is good information. Oh, thank you. Robin said that our summer soiree was an awesome event. And yes, it was fun to put names to faces. Oh, good. Okay. A few hearts and thumbs up. I appreciate that. So that is one way. And we'll just, while this ink is scraped away, I'll just show you how these others look in one color. The other flowers. Okay. So you just get these nice, soft images without all those blobs. Can I repeat what I did? Okay, so what I did was I opened up the ink pad, and this image right here, I just stamped right straight off opening the ink pad. Then, to make it not blotchy, I took my bone folder and I scraped the ink out. Not scraped, I moved. This is gentle. This is very gentle. Scrape was not a good word. I moved the ink right out of the middle of the pad. I wiped off my bone folder. Yes, it stains it, but that's what I use this for. I use it when I re-ink my ink pads, and I use it for this. And then when you ink right in that center portion, where you've moved the ink, you get a beautiful image the way that it's meant to be. Stamping off, surprisingly, no, does not produce the same result. You can try it, but for me, it does not produce the same result, Judith. Okay, so now here's the other thing that you can do if you have this kind of blobby type image, is that you could take your blending brush, you could also use a dauber, and you can get ink on your blending brush, and you can pounce it onto your stamp. And then you can use that to stamp. So those produce a very similar image, and you don't get that blobby look. So those are two different ways that you can avoid that funny blobby splotchy image. I will say that I do not prefer the dauber because I feel like it leaves like it leaves circles, and it does not, like it just doesn't, here, let me show you. It just does not blend on there as well. It's a different look. Depending on what you're after, you might want to try it. But for me, the blending brush is a much better outcome. And again, you know, depends what you want, how you want it to be. But that's just kind of the Stamping 101 of distinctive stamps. My recommendation, moving the ink with your bone folder out of a portion of the pad. And then, believe it or not, you might be thinking, oh, well, now I'm going to have to re-ink it. You don't. By the time you put this away, you're done with your project, you put it away. By the time you get it out the next time, the ink has all moved back into place. So you do have to kind of do this every time that you get the ink pad back out. It doesn't hurt it. You don't have to re-ink it. It's just a tip. So now you're wondering, okay, so that's how I get a nice image, but what about all these beautiful colors? I'm laughing because I can hear the squirrels outside and they are chattering about something. It usually means there's a cat in the backyard. So I am going to ink my entire stamp, and I probably, hang on, I probably should do the same thing on this one. Let me just, this is Bubble Bath. I'm just going to not scrape, move a little bit of that ink out of the way. I am going to ink the entire stamp. Did I clean that? Hang on, let me just make sure it's clean. Okay. Ink the entire stamp with Bubble Bath. Now I'll get a little bit of Berry Burst, and I'm going to just kind of stipple it on here. Not the whole thing. You can see how I'm sort of doing like a C shape around the bottom. And now let's see what we get. Usually no two images are going to turn out the same. And that's kind of fun. It might be frustrating if you get one that you love and then you're like, oh, I want to do it again. And it doesn't always turn out. But isn't that fun? Isn't that pretty? So now you have a very soft but two-tone image just by using the Bubble Bath and the Berry Burst. So now let's, oh, I got a thumbs up. Somebody loves that. Now let's do 3 colors. So I'm going to ink in Bubble Bath. I am going to grab my Lemon Lolly. And I'm going to dab some of that in the middle. And here's where it's fun to just play. There is absolutely no right or wrong. This is whatever you'd like to do, whatever colors you'd like to try. There is no right or wrong here. No yes or no. So then we have 3 colors. Aren't those pretty? I think they're gorgeous. Now I'm going to go even a little bit darker so that we almost get like into an orange color. This time I'm going to ink the whole thing in Lemon Lolly. Then we'll grab some Bubble Bath. And then we will grab some Berry Burst. That was a little bit much, but it's okay. It'll just be darker. It'll just be an interesting combination. So let's try that one right here. So this one will be a little darker, a little more color, a little more Lemon Lolly because we inked it in the Lemon Lolly. So here you can see we're just producing all these different beautiful combinations, and I just think that they are stunning. So let's do a Bubble Bath with this one, and we'll do a little bit of, let's do the Berry Burst in the middle. Let's see how that looks. Let's see what that one looks like. Yep, so now we have those two colors with the darker in the center. That's beautiful. Cleaning it off. Let's do Lolly. Oh, it's really bubbly, which is because I don't think that I moved that ink on this one. So let's just do that. Clean this off and start again. Okay, Lemon Lolly. And then, yeah, let's do Berry. Let's do it in the middle. This image is not very large, so you don't have a lot of real estate to play with, but you can still play with all these different colors. Look at that. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. So then I just thought of something. I wonder what if we just sort of do half in Lolly, just thought of this, half in Bubble Bath, and then we sort of go across that line a bit with the Berry Burst. I don't know. What do you think? Oh yeah, then you get like a 3-tone instead of a darker in the middle. You sort of get like a rainbow pad. See, it's just endless. You can do whatever you want with this. I hope you can all see this okay. Yes, Tammy, it does remind me too of those roses that you saw. Isn't it just fabulous and gorgeous? And I love these possibilities. So these are what I lovingly call Patty colors. And if you lean more towards like the heather, the grape, the freesia, do that. Try that. Maybe you want to try like boho blue, orchid oasis, and starry sky. Maybe Tahitian tide, azure afternoon, and balmy blue. Like you can try anything. Maybe, how about like sweet sorbet? I'm just looking up at my colors. Sweet sorbet, daffodil, and flirty flamingo. You can try any colors you'd like. I just think this is fascinating. And then there are two different middles or insides. So if you use this little one, you can add some, that might be a little dark. Well, it's all right. It's okay. You can add some interest into the centers like that. I forgot to mount this one. Let me grab this other one. I need to put that away or it's going to be lost. So then there's this other one, and it's like the stamen on the inside. So you can do that, and you can just sort of mix and match. And then the other thing I was just trying is that you could even take one of these smaller flowers and you could just stamp right over, and look, it just darkened that up and it gave it a little extra color in the middle. And it doesn't look like you stamped a flower. It just looks like you gave it another color. So there's that too. And then maybe we could just put this in the center. Yeah, and so you can just mix match. You could layer. Like on this one, I actually cut out and layered on top. But I kind of like the stamping on top part too. I think that looks really, really good. Really pretty. So all different things that you could do with this. What do you think? Do you think this lends a little more possibility to just from one color to doing these additional colors and this shading? I think it's really cool. I love this possibility, this technique. Shall we call it a technique? It could be a technique. I don't know what it's called, but blending brush shading. That's what we'll call it. Blending brush shading. How's that? The other thing I wanted to show you was using the leaves and a couple of colors that you can mix and match with leaves. So on this one, I went with a cooler I went with a blue because I got that inspiration right out of the catalog. But on this one, I decided to try Pool Party mixed with Lost Lagoon. And so this is a die cut, but let me grab some Pool Party. Is that Pool Party? Oh, I think that's Mommy Blue. There we go. Okay. With Pool Party, or I mean, this can be any color you pick, but let's do that. And then, is this my Lost? Yeah, Lost Lagoon. What I did was I just got some ink on my blending brush, and I just totally haphazardly, I'm not trying to make this even at all. Okay, the blotchier, the better. And you might be thinking like, well, that's weird. Okay. And then I used these dies from this textural floral bundle, and I just randomly put them on there and die cut. And in fact, if you'll hold 1 minute, I'll just go ahead and die cut them. But by doing it on top of this splotchiness, you get a really pretty outcome. So instead of just a plain looking sprig of leaves, then you're going to get this multicolored, beautiful image. And it's much easier to do it first than to try to ink on top of a very delicate die cut. If you still wanted more color, yeah, you could just sort of pounce here and there, but you don't want to try to swirl because that's going to just kind of mess up this really delicate. But that's how I got those leaves. And you could do the same idea with your stamp. So if you wanted to use Pool Party, I'm just going to move some of this ink right out of the middle here. If you wanted to use Pool Party, ink it up, and then add some of your Lost Lagoon as your darker accent color. And you could stamp this on white or Pool Party, doesn't matter. You're going to get this nice light and dark image that isn't just one solid color. It just sort of goes with the multicolored flowers when you're doing that. So don't be afraid to experiment with your products. It's only paper. Gosh, we haven't even used an entire sheet of paper here, right? That's like half a sheet. We used a little scrap, and then we used a quarter sheet. So we did all of that just experimenting and just playing. And right? Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that fun? Look how pretty this looks together. These Pool Party-ish colors with that. I love that. It doesn't have to be green. If you know me, you know I would have gone for Granny Apple, Parakeet, and Lemon Lime. But look at that. I think it's fantastic. Tammy says, kind of obsessed. Margaret says, I love that idea. Oh, okay. Michael is asking, is this only distinctive stamps? You could do this with any stamps. But as I was mentioning in the beginning, if you want to avoid that blobbiness with the distinctive stamp on a new freshly inked pad, then you want to do this. And you want to move the ink away. You want to use your blending brushes and whatnot. But no, you could do this with anything. Like, I'm even thinking a couple of colors on the cherries, maybe the sweet sorbet and real red, or a little cherry cobbler. In fact, I think I might have even done that. But yeah, you can do it with any stamps. but particularly these distinctive stamps. And thank you. That's a great question. Let's see. Thank you, Patricia. She loves the examples and she says I'm the best. That is super, super sweet of you. So, does anybody want to see making this background? Is that of interest, or are you all bored and done? Because I'm happy to show it. I just don't want to keep everybody all day and bore you. Yes, the Rainier cherry. That's right. You did those. I remember that, Tammy, the Rainier cherries. Oh, Lillian says yes. We can make the background. I'm happy to do that. Patricia says yes. Okay, let's do the background. I do recommend the silicone craft sheet. It's helpful with this. And you'll have your quarter sheet of just white. I did this on white. And then you'll die cut anything, but I used the Gorgeous Garden background dies. You'll die cut that out of a quarter sheet, and then you're just going to lay it on top of each other. And I just use little Post-it flags around the perimeter. Oh wait, I'm going to put them on the bottom. I'm going to show you this tip. So if you hold it down together on the bottom, and actually it doesn't just have to be the edge. Just go ahead and secure this together down at the bottom. I'll show you my little tip for this. So we're going to start up here with the Lemon Lolly. And I don't know if you've seen my tips on using blending brushes, but I like to get the ink pretty saturated and then just rub off just to make sure that there wasn't a fuzz or some weird something going on, right? Just make sure. And then I'm just going to start up here and I'm just very lightly adding color. So what this is doing is it is giving color to this top die cut, but it's acting as a homemade stencil and it's adding color to that background piece. So this is a 2-for-1. We are going to get 2 backgrounds out of this. And you could actually use this front die cut piece over and over as a stencil, but I just think use it once and then you've got 2 cards, and then do it again and use your next one and then you've got 2 cards. Okay, so we have our Lemon Lolly, and then I am going to move to my next darkest, which would be Bubble Bath in this particular trio of colors. And again, pick colors that you love. You do not have to do the colors I did. Okay, so Bubble Bath through the center. And when you overlap a little with Lemon Lolly, you're going to get sort of I'm not going to say orange, but maybe let's call it like a flirty flamingo color, because they're mixing together. You remember colors that mix, right? From school, mixing colors. I'm sort of doing, you can see like a little bit of a diagonal here. You don't have to do that. This is just sort of how my brain was thinking about this design. You can do whatever you'd like, however many colors you'd like. Okay, now here's that tip. This is why I said put your little Post-it flags at the bottom first. Now I'm going to hold down the top. And I included this info in our event technique table. I hope people read it. But now you can color the bottom portion without anything shifting around. And our bottom portion is Berry Burst. While I'm doing this, I'll answer a question that I don't think it's been asked today, but hi Gay, welcome. We're just about done. So feel free to watch the replay. So if you're just joining, we did the multicolor floral images. And then this is just kind of the bonus, is showing you what I did in the background. But I was going to answer a question that gets asked a lot. And that is, do you have a blending brush for every color, or do you wash it in between? So the answer is yes, I actually do have a blending brush for every color. I've labeled them. I've shared those labels as a free download. They are available for free if you would like to print them. But I started with, I think, was it like 9 or 12 brushes? And I said, like, all the pinks will be a brush, all the greens will be a brush, all the blues will be a brush. And then as I wanted to invest a little more, I just bought additional sets of brushes. They come in a 3-pack, and I bought a bigger holder, and I now have one for every color. You don't have to, but I kind of like that, so that I'm not mixing and matching colors. And then the reason I don't wash them is that the more you build up ink in a brush, the better your results. If this were clean every time, you'd have to soak up so much ink off of here to get a nice result that it would kind of be a waste of ink. So I leave them saturated with ink. So there's your long answer to that question. And welcome, Kirsten. Glad to see you here. Okay, so now the big reveal. This is the fun part, right? This is like those DIY shows where they blindfold the couple and they show them their new house or their new kitchen or whatever. Look how gorgeous. Look at that. Look how pretty. Isn't that amazing? And it's just those 3 colors, yet by combining, you kind of get a different color here, you get a different color there, so it almost looks like 5 colors. But now you have 2 separate pieces to use on your cards. So we'll go back again to the examples. So here is this one just on top of a white background and then on a Berry Burst card base. And here is this one, simply adding the flowers on top, not even anything else. Just trim it down, put it on a card base. I did bubble bath, and there you go. And then the last thing I did was adding tinsel gems. I love the 3-pack and the 4-pack. These are like my favorite embellishments in the whole catalog. And so adding them as your little accents, I think, is just really, really beautiful. So that is how I did all the multicolor florals. That's how I did the multicolor greenery, and your tips on making that blobby image look nice and the backgrounds. So there you have it. What do you think? Thank you, Robin. I absolutely love all of this because it's Patty colors, it's blending brushes, it's flowers. It makes my heart very, very happy. Oh, good. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Robin. Robin says, I love how your mind works with color. Color is my world. I love all the Stampin' Up colors. I wish we had 100. I would use them all. But, you know, we have 50, and I will make do. I'll live. Thanks, Paula. Thanks, Gay. Thank you, Wendy. Oh, let's see. Lillian says she's heavy-handed and struggling with the brushes. So I actually have a whole playlist on my YouTube channel for blending brush videos of explaining how I get the results that I do. And in a nutshell, you want to try to hold it back here. Don't put your finger up here. Don't smash it down. Put your hand back here and let it float over your paper. For me, that is how you get the best blended results. I know I see a lot of YouTubers and they're just pushing down and they're just scrubbing all the color on there. I mean, that's okay if you want really dark images or blobs or whatever. But for me, I prefer a light hand building up the color. You can always add color, but once that blob goes on your project, it's there forever. So I love to build it up slowly and lightly. Oh, thank you. Anne says, my background technique is magic. That is so sweet of you. I was so glad you were at our event, Anne. It was so good to meet you all the way from Alaska. Yeah, Lillian, you are welcome to watch all of those. I have over 400 free videos on my YouTube channel, and I have lots of playlists on there that you can watch for. I have playlists for Stampin' Blends, for blending brushes. Well, I guess some of them are now for retired products, but you know, that's how that goes. But yeah, there's lots of playlists that you can watch. You're welcome, Judy. Oh, good. Mary is asking my favorite, large or small brushes. So the small brushes, and you know what? I really should have grabbed those because now that you say it, I remember I did use the small brushes on those smaller flowers so that I wouldn't have such a big blob of ink. And I totally forgot. They're sitting right here and I forgot. So Mary, thank you for that reminder. This would be a great alternative when you have smaller images like that. And I don't have one for every color. I have about a dozen. So right now it's like reds, pinks, oranges, yellows, greens, blues, purples, and it's good enough for now. So they are not labeled. I don't have 50 of those. Thank you, Anne. She said the soiree weekend was incredible. It was really fun, wasn't it? It was just awesome. Thank you, Lori. Hi, Lori. Thanks, Judy. Thank you, Karen. Thanks, everybody. Oh, Robin says tinsel gems are her favorite too. Yep, I love them. Oh, you're welcome, Wendy. I'm glad you enjoyed the explanation. Oh, yes, Gay, you are welcome to watch all of my blending brush videos. I have lots of them for you to help you with using them. Thanks, Andrea. I appreciate all of you. So I am not sure what we're making next week. If you have suggestions of bundles or techniques or something that you would like to see next week, let me know because I don't have a plan yet. I would love your input to see what you are struggling with or, you know, anything that you would like to get ideas for. I'm open to suggestions. But I hope everybody has a nice weekend. If you are at all celebrating Father's Day with anyone, I hope you're having a lovely time with that. And I hope that everybody has a nice, safe weekend. And thank you, Linda. Thanks, Nell. I hope that you all just have some stamping time. I am going to be creating for our upcoming September crafting cruise. We are going to the East Coast. We have almost 100 crafters joining Kirsten and I, so I am down to the wire now. I need to get all of my projects designed so that we can start cutting and prepping for all of that. All right. Oh, let's see. Shan was saying that she would like to see me use the fishing things. Okay, I don't own the fishing things because I'll be honest, fishing, okay, I don't want to say it creeps me out, but the thought of catching a fish and touching a fish and doing something with a fish almost puts me over the edge. So fishing is not my deal, Shan, and I am not getting the fishing set. I am, however, I have ordered the fishing dies, and I'm going to show you something that I'm going to do with that has nothing to do with fishing. I just can't do fishing. Well, Dawn, happy 47th anniversary. That is amazing. Oh, enamel effects. Yes, Carol, we will be doing that. Let's see. What else? I think there was Was there a question? Okay, Lillian says no fishing for her either, and she has a really funny emoji. Okay, Shan says me too, just making it for her sons. Oh, thanks, Gay. Well, you know, I hate to be too opinionated and say that fishing creeps me out, but I'll just be honest with you. It just does. Like, the thought of touching a fish puts me over the edge. There's not much that puts me over the edge, but a live fish, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're watching that series Alone. I don't know if any of you have been watching that. It's on season 10. So we've been watching this for 10 years. And anytime they fish and they catch a fish, I just have to like look away. I can't do the fishing thing. Yep, Judy, you might have read my mind. That might be what I'm going to show you. Okay, enough about fishing. Enough about flowers. Have a fabulous weekend, everybody. And I will see you next week with something. We'll see. I don't know what. Something. All right. I will talk to you all soon. Thanks for joining me so much. I appreciate you spending time with me on Fridays. Talk to you later.